So with these new redesigns on this new Kingdom Hearts Chi card, you would think that of course your boy Mozzie would have actually covered this by now. He would have been talking hype and shit, and he would have really been, going crazy. But over the past few days, I've really had to think about, or the past couple days, I've really had to think about this and whether or not I wanted to actually portray this idea, because these designs are actually hella dope and I love everything about these designs. And I'm not saying this because I'm about to relay something negative, of course, thoughts about them. I actually enjoy them and I love them a lot. But this is what I wanted to say. Before this image was even put up, I was going to make a theory talking about how Riku, who's going to go look for previous wielders inside of Kingdom Hearts 3, was actually going to find Ephemera and Skuld. He was going to find them alongside King Mickey, and they were actually going to be a part of the Seven Guardians. So if you remember, I talked about in my video talking about Master Ava being pretty much the Master of Masters, who's actually taking on this disguise due to the fact that she has all of these different powers that the rest of the foretellers don't seem to really possess. And in that video, I mentioned that Ephemera and Skuld will eventually wound up in this realm called the Unchained Realm. This Unchained Realm is supposed to be a realm where pretty much, characters relive out certain events, which we don't have really true details about this, whether or not it's actually the events of their lifetime or whether or not it's the events of another character's lifetime, or maybe whoever banished them there. That's unclear, seeing as, of course, Ava really put them here to really just essentially train. That's what they're going to be doing when they go to that realm. You see, this realm is being used by Ava to let these characters, or let this group that she's created called the Dandelions, skip the Keyblade War permanently. So pretty much the Keyblade War will never affect them. The darkness that will befall the realm of light and the realm of darkness will not affect Ephemera and Skuld and whoever else goes into this realm around that time, that pretty much, Kingdom Hearts weakness will destroy the world. So they will not be affected by this. Now you may be wondering, how in the hell would Riku find these characters? Well, we know from Xehanort reports that Xehanort actually knew about unions that were outside of his circle. So there were actually other unions based in other worlds that probably had a completely unique system that we haven't gotten to see before inside of course, his backstory. If you read his Xehanort reports, you kind of learn different things, and there's even hints that him and Ericus had, students before Ventus, Terra, and Aqua. So it's a pretty crazy thing to think about that, of course, in the past there were even more Keyblade wielders. Even Vanitas mentions once that once he completes his X-Blade and he's able to actually call Kingdom Hearts down from the darkness, of course, more Keyblade wielders will flock to the Keyblade graveyard to participate in the newfound Grand Keyblade War. Of course, perspectives on views, and of course their balance in their hearts, meaning that light is dominant on one side for the characters and darkness is dominant on the other side. So seeing as these two things are about to face each other, Riku going to go look for these previous wielders, and how he may even know about them is probably due to the teachings and, of course, the guidance of Yen Sid. Yen Sid actually has access to information provided to him from the stars. As we know, the stars are hinted to be worlds. These worlds actually shine down on them from their hearts like a million lanterns to other worlds, or worlds that are far off that actually can see the rest of the worlds. So if you can see the rest of the worlds and Yensid gets information from these worlds, maybe he learns about Ephemera and Skuld. Maybe he learns about two characters that remained in their prime long enough to actually be brought back or be brought into this war. And let me explain why I think they would be used instead of Terra and Aqua. So as we know, Aqua has spent a huge amount of time in the realm of darkness. This huge amount of time in the realm of darkness has actually changed Aqua, probably not for the worse in the sense that she's anything like Terra, but we know that Terra as well, also we still don't know where his body is, nor apparently where his heart is, which is made apparent by King Mickey. We don't know where his heart is, and we also don't know where his body is, seen as, of course, Terranort never re-emerged. And so if Terranort never re-emerged, and his heart is something that's still lost in the series, meaning that of course we don't have any official statements. We all have speculated it's either with Riku, Xehanort still has it, or it's inside of Sora. So that's all still speculation. There is no official say so on where his heart is, and we also don't know where his body is. However, we do know that his soul is actually trapped in the lingering will. So with the soul being trapped in the lingering will, you would think that this whole scattering may mean Terra may finally come back at the end of the game, seeing as of course putting Xehanort down could lead to his heart actually reappearing. If his heart is with Xehanort, if his heart is with Riku, then you would have to imagine that of course at first they need to come to an acknowledgement that it's with Riku, so that way Riku can actually release his heart, seeing as he has power over hearts now. And then of course if it's with Sora, Sora still needs to find the key to return hearts, which then of course he would have to turn the key on himself, which causes a whole nother problem if this means that it's going to have the same effect as what happened in Kingdom Hearts 1 when Sora turned the Keyblade of people's hearts on himself, which is a name of speculative matters. I think that is the key to return hearts, but it's just a name of speculative matters. The reason why I actually came to this level of speculation is not because Ephemera and Skuld are used in this image. No, it's actually because of the use of Ventus. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been speculating whether or not this is Ventus or Roxas. You've been looking, you've been analyzing, but let me tell you guys one little detail that I think a lot of people are missing. If you look under this character's vest, so let's say even if it could be Roxas for the sake of speculation, and of course for the sake of me revealing this to you guys, if you look under his shirt, or his vest, you see the same shirt that Ventus had on, and then you also get to see the same armor-like plating. Now this armor-like plating is something that was exclusive to Ventus, alongside his wristband, and obviously the left side of his shirt is actually darkness, or it's black to represent his heart and stuff, and how his heart was perfect halves, or half and half, both light and darkness perfectly. So that pretty much determines, or that pretty much can confirm to us, at least for the sake of speculation, and kind of it gives it more of viable evidence. It's more viable evidence that it's Ventus rather than not. And due to that fact, we know that this look also has a redesign. If you also pay attention to, of course, the close-ups of this new Ventus design, you realize he no longer wears the X sigil. Now the X sigil was something that was actually placed under Master Ericus's Master Sigil that each of the Birth by Sleep characters wore on their chest. Now we know from young Xehanort that the X on Sora's chest that was inside of Dream Drop distance allowed him to know where Sora was at all times. So it would make sense that all of these characters have removed any possible X designs on their clothes, seeing as young Xehanort has revealed this information to them. So with that being said, this really does kind of hint with this Ventus thing, and of course the whole new designs for Riku and Kairi, that Ephemera and Skuld are not just on this image for no reason. It really wouldn't make sense to honestly put Ephemera and Skuld on here if they won't have any role to play in Kingdom Hearts 3. But as we know, they will go into some place, they will go into some type of hiding, which is of course being speculated to be the Unchained Realm, where they will skip the Keyblade War, and that the befalling of darkness on the world will not affect them, because Master Ava has chosen them to live beyond the lifetime of the Keyblade War and actually spread the new Keyblade's truth, which Xehanort in his Xehanort reports have actually talked about other unions and stuff like that. So maybe this is a system that was started by Ephemera and Skuld, and who knows, they may not even be young anymore. They could actually be old mofos that may actually come and deal with Xehanort. Because one thing that's interesting to note, the Kingdom Hearts series, the further back we go, the stronger the characters get. For instance, the Birth by Sleep characters, or the Birth by Sleep trio, was nowhere near as close to as strong as Xehanort. Yes, you can talk about how Terra actually beat Xehanort in a game of course, brute strength, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily stronger. You have to realize Xehanort's old body was something that he was trying to give up, and of course he wanted Terra to really succumb to the darkness, even if that means he would have to take some blows to kind of bring Terra out. Because one of the most evil forms of darkness, of course, that even mankind in real life has, is trying to take another life. So if he could bring Terra to the point that he would be willing to take his life, then he would bring his darkness into its full hold, or its full grasp on his heart. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Ephemera and Skuld being here actually represents anything? I know about Kairi's ears. Do I think it has anything to do with the foretellers? I do believe that her design is inspired by the foreteller design, but I don't think it has anything to do with the rebirth theory. And it's not not that I mean, I've said before I don't agree with the rebirth theory, but it's not that I, don't think that the rebirth theory isn't anything to actually take into consideration, seeing that she does has this design. It's just more so of a matter of course, if this was actually true, why would Kyrie be the only one that seems to be represented by the rebirth theory? You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense that it would only be Kyrie. Although she is a princess of heart, it still doesn't make sense to me. And as you guys know as well, I have been speculating and I have been thinking about what if Master Ava is the Master of Masters rather than actually being Ava herself. So let me know what you guys think. This is being boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to check out my gaming channel, which there will be a link in the description below if you want to check that out. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep will be starting in August, and we're going to be pretty much working our way to 2.8 and trying to go as fast as possible with the rest of the games as well. So thank you guys once again for tuning into the video, and peace the heck out.